In a world where idols are trained to follow, one man rewrote the rules by leading. He didn't just guide six boys to global domination, he engineered a cultural revolution with a pen, a plan, and a mind sharper than any diamond record. This isn't just about BTS. This is about the leader who made it possible. Let's talk about why Kim Namjoon, RM, is the best damn leader in K pop and most likely global pop history. Period. The number one proof of his leadership is the success of the group that he leads. There is no denying that the success of BTS is unparalleled, not just in Korea or Asia, but on a global scale. Commercially, critically, and culturally, they've achieved milestones that were once unimaginable for any Western act, let alone Asian act. BTS has been nominated for the Grammy 5 times, won Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards, and they stand as the most awarded Asian born group in history. On Spotify alone, they've racked up 43 billion streams. They've sent 27 songs to the Billboard Hot 100, and six of them, Dynamite, Butter, Life Goes On, Permission to Dance, My Universe, and Savage Love, hit number one. But beyond the metrics is something far more impactful. They changed the shape of global music industry. At a time when pop was drowning in formula chord progression and disposable lyrics, BTS offered music steeped in meaning. They weaved in reference to Hermann Hesse's Damien. They've explored Carl Jung's psychological theories in their Map of the Soul series, and they wrote about mental health, burnout, fame, and the pressure of social conformity. Topics few dared to touch, let alone in the context of idol music. And at the heart of that creative engine is RM. He's credited in the writing or producing of over 90% of their discography. The fusion of pop structure with philosophical, literary, and deeply personal themes didn't happen by accident. It was crafted, and that craft was led by RM, nurturing each member to form a strong team. From the very beginning, RM recognized that the rap line, himself, Suga, and J Hope, had a creative head start. They were already writing, producing, and exploring genres before debut. But instead of hoarding that knowledge, RM actively nurtured the rest of the team. He personally curated playlists for the vocal line, songs that exposed them to alternative sound, deeper lyrics, and more textured production styles. Over time, each member responded at their own pace, but they all acknowledged how much that expanded their musical horizons. That wasn't just a nice gesture, it became the foundation of BTS's signature sound, a seamless blend of rap, R&B, pop, rock, and experimental genre. They approached work so well that Hybe eventually incorporated it into their trainee development programs. RM may not have known it at that time, but by investing in each member's growth, he was engineering the future success of BTS. He wasn't just building a group, he was building an ecosystem where every member could thrive as an artist. And they did. Literary techniques that set him apart. RM's unique strength lies in the fact that he isn't just a songwriter, he's a literary mind. Most composers are trained within the box of music theory or commercial viability. RM operates in a much wider intellectual and emotional pace. He brings literary discipline into music, something rarely seen in mainstream pop. Take Allegory, for instance. Every BTS era, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Wings, Love Yourself, Map of the Soul, functions as both a cohesive narrative and a collective of independent stories. Each album is rich with layered meanings, where every MV, track, photo concept, and others feeds into a broader philosophical theme. Then there's Illusion, a technique he uses masterfully. In Intro Persona, he directly references Carl Jung. In Spring Day, he echoes the Sewell fairy tragedy. In Blood, Sweat, and Tears, there are visual cues from Hermann Hesse's and Nietzsche and even biblical iconography. His lyrics aren't just rhymes, they're blueprints for interpretation, study, and emotional excavation. He uses metaphors, symbolisms, and personification with the elegance of a novelist and the accessibility of a pop star. This literary command is what allows BTS to speak to both teenagers and scholars, sometimes in the same song. Authenticity in the midst of global pop success. At the height of BTS's Western breakthrough, when the path of least resistance was to mimic what the Western market wanted, upbeat songs, bop, generic lyrics, safe narratives, RM made a conscious decision to stick to what felt real. Instead of flooding the chart with easy, empty earworms, BTS released Fake Love, The Truth Untold, and Black Swan, and many more. Songs laced with raw vulnerability and existential depth. These weren't tracks built to trend on TikTok. They were songs that revealed the toll of success, the hollowness of fame, and the internal collapse that happen when identity is compromised. He knew what the market wanted, but he also knew what the art demanded. And he chose the latter, even when the stakes were high. That kind of integrity is rare, especially when the entire world is watching and billions of dollars are on the line. The courage to make the hard ask. Being a leader isn't just being liked. Sometimes it's about doing what's necessary, especially when it's uncomfortable. One of the most telling examples of RM's leadership came during a conflict between V and Jin. Backstage, emotions were high, and V was in tears. In an era where soft parenting, quote unquote, and emotional prioritization often dominate discussion of leadership, RM chose to balance compassion with duty. He calmly said, and I am paraphrasing, "We'll deal with this later. Right now, 60,000 people are out there. Some of them waited days, some saved for years just to see us. We owe it to them to perform." It wasn't dismissive, it was real. And it was grounded and necessary. Leadership also showed up in smaller, subtler ways. When a member gave a heartfelt speech and the younger line was too loud, RM was the one who said, "Let them speak." These moments may seem small, but they define a leader, someone who protects not just the performance, but the people. Balancing his own artistry with group duties. Even as the leader of the most successful group on earth, RM never sacrificed his personal artistic identity. He knew there were parts of himself that didn't quite fit within BTS brand. So instead of forcing those elements into the group, he carved out space for his solo work. RM 2015, Mono in 2018, Indigo in 2022 are more than just side projects. They're deeply personal portraits of a man wrestling with purpose, loneliness, identity, and time. And the evolution between them shows an artist who refuses to stay stagnant. By staying true to his personal growth, RM didn't just preserve his own creative soul, he became a better leader. He was able to return to BTS recharged, clear-headed, and grounded. And that emotional and artistic balance is rare. Most leaders burn out. RM evolved. A marketing strategist disguised as a lyricist. RM's genius doesn't just stop at lyricism and leadership. He has a marketer's mind. His decision to host live streams after album releases wasn't just fan service. It was strategic communication. By breaking down the songs, sharing behind-the-scenes stories, and explaining lyric meanings, he invited fans into the creative process. This deepened fan connection, expanded appreciation for the music, and built an emotional bond between audience and art. In Western pop, mystique and distance are often the norm. RM shattered that model. He showed that transparency of their art breeds loyalty. He sold not just records, but understanding. And understanding is what turns casual listeners into lifelong fans. A personal evolution you can track in real time. RM's solo discography is a textbook in personal development. RM was raw and ambitious. Mono was introspective and melancholic. Indigo was philosophical and mature. Each project reflects where he was in life, and each is steeped in its own genre, tone, and literary style. You can trace his growth as a person, thinker, and artist just by listening to his songs. While leading BTS, while writing their music, while navigating global fame, he still found time to evolve on his own. Most people can barely evolve in private. RM did it in public, and it was absolutely poetic. Knowing and maximizing every member's growth. RM doesn't just micromanage, he delegates, and more importantly, he empowers. A perfect example, when BTS was rehearsing their White House speech, RM stepped back and let J Hope take over the blocking. Why? Because J Hope knew choreography and space better. RM knew when to lead and when to follow. Even in light-hearted Run BTS episodes, like the one where members had to pass a water bottle, Suga said it outright: don't talk unless you're RM. That wasn't arrogance, that was structure, and that was trust. RM identifies strengths, he assigns roles, and then he steps aside and let others shine. That's leadership, not control, but coordination. Vision, delegation, and execution. RM doesn't just have ambition, he has a blueprint. Along with Suga, he has always been vocal about what he wanted for BTS: global stages, critical respect, and artistic freedom. And together they made it happen. Even their own CEO, Bang Shiyuk, admitted, I can't lead them anymore. They know this space better than I do. And one perfect example of vision meeting execution: Dynamite. RM was given the option to rewrite the lyrics, but he said no. Not because he didn't want to, but because he knew the group needed this song as is. As it was the right sound, the right moment, the right entry point into the Western mainstream. That song went number one, and that opened the floodgates. RM is the leader who doesn't just dream, he plans, adapts, and delivers. Over and over and over again. So I hope you enjoy that as much as I enjoy doing it. I know that that for years and years now, and I will continue to do it. I've always wanted to put a spotlight on the songs of BTS, its complexities, the multi layered meaning, the substance, the complex emotions, and the complex logic that they present. And at the heart of it all is really the lyricist, which is RM, our dear leader. And so, in his coming release, I hope that we can really come together and show him support in the way that really matters more. And that is through streaming his songs. And it's going to be May 2, Stop the Rain, Tableau featuring RM. And but more than that, I think what matters is his current discography. He has a lot of songs out. We can always go to Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and actually stream. We don't have to wait for the new song. Okay, if you have inputs, if you have anything to add, any questions, anything. You can leave them in the comment section below. For as long as you say so respectfully, you're all good. You can also follow me on X or on Instagram, and also on Patreon. It's a vibrant community. There's a lot of things going on in there. I hope that you could join us. And there is a free tier just in case you want to try things out first and not commit. All right. Thank you so much. Um, did I say follow me on X and also on Instagram? If I haven't, well, there you go. If I did, then I said it twice. Thank you so much, and I'll see you around.